it's Roxie with Roxie's Broadway Breakdown. Welcome back to my channel. And today I want to cover the differences between alternates, swings, standbys, and understudies. Sometimes these terms are used interchangeably and they should not be because they are all very distinct, different things. So let's break this down. All right. So in a long-running show, like a Broadway show, a national tour, you have something that's called an alternate. And this is a person, they are not part of the every night show, they're not part of the ensemble, but they're given a contract that guarantees them that during the run of the performance, they will go on for a lead role or supporting role. So they know that sometime during the week, they're going to go on maybe for a matinee or a night show, but they are going to get to do that role at some point during the week. Every week, they're guaranteed. So that's what an alternate is. As opposed to an understudy. An understudy is a part of the every night show. They're in the ensemble, so they know they're going to get to perform every night in the ensemble, but they are covering like a lead role or supporting role or a featured role. So at some point, they may be asked at a moment's notice to cover a role. So they have to be ready and they have to know the other roles really well in case they should go on, but they're not guaranteed. You don't know. You may get to do it at some point, you may not. As opposed to a swing is not in the show at all. They don't get to perform every night, but they have to know certain roles, or sometimes roles are called tracks, and sometimes they're cast as many, they may cover 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 roles that they may have to be prepared for. And sometimes they're ensemble roles, sometimes they're lead roles or featured roles, and that's really hard. So they have to know a lot of different roles. And if you really think about it, that's really hard because, you know, everybody, when you're in a show, from beginning to end, you have your own individual, and this is why they're called tracks. You have your own entrances and exits. You know your choreography, your harmony. You know where you're going to go after a number. You know where you have your fast changes, you know, your breaks, you know when you're going to go get your props. You know, I mean, everybody has kind of their own little track they stay on. And so if you have to cover 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 of those, that's a lot of parts to keep in your head. So you have to be very organized to be a swing. You know, you have to keep rehearsing different parts all the time so that you know them. You might want to shadow people and see, well, where do they go after this number? Where do they go after this number? What's their fast changes? You know, it's hard to keep all those parts or tracks in your head. And usually you go on, if an understudy is pulled to go on for a part that night, like a lead or supporting role, then the swing comes in and fills in for them. That's how that usually works. A standby is somebody who is not in the show every night, but they literally just have to cover a lead role. That's all their job is, to be on call, be ready, and you might get called tonight to cover the lead role. That's it. That's all your job is. So you're thinking, well, gosh, you know, does a lead role have to have that many people, an alternate, an understudy, a swing, a standby? Yes. I mean, in these shows like Broadway that go on for months, years, you know, the main people have to have a lot of people to cover their parts. I mean, if there's emergencies, illnesses, the show's going to go on regardless. So yes, they have to have, you know, sort of a deep pool to pull from, because you never know. I mean, they got to have their bases covered and be ready for people on hand to go in at a moment's notice to cover their parts. So those are the differences between all those layers of people. Should you take a part as an alternate? Well, yeah, because you're guaranteed to go on at some point during the week. An understudy, yes, you're in the show, you're an ensemble member, and you may or may not get to go on. A swing, that's a lot of responsibility, but it looks good on your resume because you most likely will go on. Somebody at some point will be asked to do another role, and you're gonna get to go on. So, and you were thought of enough to cover all these different roles. So, yes, a swing looks great on your resume. And a standby, I mean, you're right there. You were thought of enough to cover a lead role. So, all of them look good on your resume. They all have very different functions, but should you be cast as one, take it. It's musical theater. All right, don't forget to click and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video.